Is anyone else feeling completely exhausted from existing? I've always been a charismatic, outgoing, enthusiastic kid and young adult. However, the more that I grow up, the more I get older, and the more that my consciousness expands, the more that I realize, hey, we were told that it was a hard world, but I really don't think we were told how hard it is. Especially in this day and age. I'm filming this video in 2025. We have a huge cost of living crisis that's going on right now. So the pressure for everybody to just be able to literally exist has gone up tenfold from what it was when I was growing up. So you start to now feel the pressure of that, right? And the expectations of you being able to pay your bills, pay your rent, put food on the table, put, gas in the car, and all the extra things that come with just living a life. But I also want to talk about some of the caveats that come with that, right? So not only just having to pay rent and, pay bills and things like that, of course, that's exhausting in itself. But also the physicality as well of doing things and becoming exhausted mentally, physically, getting pains and aches because we've been doing a job that requires manual labor, or you're doing a repetitive motion. Just any of that becomes exhausting in itself because your body is exhausted. So like, you mentally, we're getting more exhausted because of the situation that we have right now, and then also physically we're working ourselves like dogs to be able to survive, which is then making us exhausting. Well, it's making me exhausted, and I'm just like, oh mate, existence is exhausting right now. Like, just being able to put yourself in a good mindset to be able to get up in the morning to do your shit and get everything ready in the morning is getting harder the older I get and the longer that this whole situation is going on with the world. Like the constant worry about, how are we going to do this? How are we going to do that? The constant apprehension about what's going to happen, like this, that, and the other. Like, I think you are too, are feeling it right now with this existence that we're in right now. Like, it's as hard as it's ever been. Yeah, we know Earth is hard, like, we know that, but existing in this time and day and age right now, like, we need to literally give ourselves a clap and a little tap on the back, because it's incredibly tough. It is. And I'm not talking about, like, suicidal thoughts or anything like that, but I don't know if anybody does relate to this, but there are some times that I just want to exist in a void. And what I mean by that is I'm out of my body, so I don't have this heavy, like, my shoulder aches already, like, I'm not gonna, but out of this body, so I don't feel this pain, I don't feel this, like, heaviness, right? So just like a floating whatever in a void where you don't have to do anything, like, just for a split second. Yeah, just give me 5 minutes where I am in this place where there is absolutely nothing, but just you existing. There's no thoughts, there's no feelings, there's no emotion, there's no attachments, there's no body, there's no physicality, like, there's no worry, there's no pain, there's no nothing. Like, I just want that for 5 minutes. I don't know whether anybody else has ever felt that, but I feel like I need that just to refresh right now. Like, there needs to be somewhere where we go as like a refresher course, and it can't cost money. Because I know there's going to be people being like, well, there's retreat centers. For how much? For how much? You would never catch me paying thousands for some sort of retreat when you could just go out into the woods and have a nature day and things like that. But I'm talking like deep, get yourself out of it just for like 5 minutes and then come back and be completely refreshed and energized to try and fight this world. Side note, there's probably people being like, yeah, you can just do like ayahuasca or something like that. I'm not talking about like psychedelics, right? I don't want to involve psychedelics. And this is why it's hard for me or anybody else out there that doesn't want to do psychedelics. because I do want to go to that place, which you can find with those types of drugs, but I don't want to do that. So you then have a constant battle with yourself to put yourself in the right mindset to be able to get through life. I just feel like we're working twice as hard now, like in our minds and with our bodies. Like, I know it was hard for y'all back in the day. Don't come at me being like, I'm 80 years old, I worked all my life. I know, I take my invisible hat off to you. Life was incredibly hard back then. I know. But you've got to see the decline. You've got to see the decline in, the value of life now, really. There's no culture left. We don't get together and have fun anymore. Nobody smiles at anyone anymore, When I go out to go and get my shopping, I want to go there, get my shopping, and get out. Whereas back in the day, I would take my time going round, speaking to people. Like at the checkout, I'd be really friendly. Nowadays, it just seems like I am so done and exhausted with everything in my mind and my body and my soul that I want to come back and just be as much as I can in this present moment as well as I can. Because no matter what you say, times have shifted. There is no like family vibes as much as there was, When's the last time you and your family sat down and played like a board game or something and like really took that away from you for the day and like sat down? I have to remind myself, really, to be honest, to like go, right, Katie, you're going to take an hour out and you're going to go and do this and you're going to go and do that, because it becomes a perpetual thing, right, where you're like on a treadmill and you have this like, the old thing where they've got like a stick over you, like, and there's a carrot and there's like, I don't know, a bunny rabbit running after the carrot or whatever. I kind of feel like that. I kind of feel like I'm being put on a perpetual treadmill to like keep going, to make it to at the point where like I'm comfortable and I'm satisfied. And I know at the point that I'm going to be comfortable and satisfied, but I don't know when that's going to come. And so that exhausts me in my mind, thinking about it, trying to get to that point. And we've really got to stop doing that, I feel. If you're like me, stop doing that, because it's terrible for you. And this is why mindset is so important. Like, I stress mindset all the time. If you don't know, I would highly recommend looking at certain philosophers. There is some great philosophical teachings, especially from, I would say, Taoism, Wu Wei, and of course Stoicism. But I do like a lot more of the Taoism teachings and the Wu Wei, because at the end of the day, we need something, right? We need an extra power that's going to help us through this, because we are superheroes being human, right? We can do a lot. Our bodies go through a lot and we get over a lot. But I do feel that at this current stage where the world is at its uncertainty, we need some extra strength, and that extra strength is going to have to come from you within and your mindset. So yeah, I'm working really hard on changing the mindset from becoming so exhausted to just allowing myself to relax a little, get on with what I need to, but ultimately don't pressure myself too much. And I want you guys that are listening to me right now to also do that, right? We need to just allow it a little bit and hope that things are going to work out, because you know what? They always do, didn't they? Things have a really, really weird way of working out. Like, you won't even put much effort into it and it will just happen. Okay? These are the teachings of Wu Wei and Taoism. So I strongly recommend y'all look at some of the philosophy out there. And that's why mindset is so important, because when you're completely beaten down and absolutely sick and tired of it all, you need to have that strong voice inside you that keeps you going, because we do have to keep going, right? At the end of the day, if you're walking through hell, the last place you're going to stop is there, right? So we cannot give up. Remember that. We cannot give up. Continue walking through hell and we're going to make it through the other side.